What is up, geeks? I am extremely excited to review another lightsaber for you guys. I know it's been a while since the last lightsaber review, but don't worry guys. I wanted to get this one especially because I love the hilt design. This is the Mace Windu lightsaber from Ultrasabers, and they're calling it the Electrum Wind. So we'll get into all the details, of course the demo video at the end of this video. So guys, without further ado, this is the Electrum Wind, and I got this one in Adegan Silver, and the reason why is because I wanted to try out the color discs. So I'll show you guys how those work later, but for those who want to see this thing lit up already, I'm going to do that for you guys now with just the Adegan Silver, and then later on we'll show off the other colors that we can do, mixing and matching all the different color discs. So anyway, I'll show it to you lit up with the lights on and then with the lights off. Alright guys, so it's time to take a closer look at this beautiful hilt constructed by the guys at Ultrasabers, and it's based off the Mace Windu Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith hilt. There are some notable differences. It does have the color palette, the same color palette with the gold, black, and silver, but the grips over here, the black grips, are supposed to be rubber. That's the movie version, and also the movie version doesn't have that same activation switch. Actually, this whole entire knob would move up to activate the lightsaber, but here we have the typical Ultrasabers AV switch. I went for the black because I'm used to the silver one, and the black is a different choice that you can make now. The silver, chromed out just like the movie, looks very nice. Now I will say the size of the hilt, I know you guys are always asking about sizes and stuff, but this is 12.5 inches long, the longest in my collection, so that's pretty significant, being that you guys know my extension extends to about 20 plus lightsabers, and this is by far the longest one, a lot longer than my Manticore. So anyway, the movie version, a lot smaller. Now, there are a lot of great things that they did with this that does pay homage to the movie version. Like I said, the color palette and just the feel of it, it feels really great. It looks elegant. Now, although they don't have the rubber grips here, they went for something similar over here. Now, the movie doesn't have this kind of grip style, but it's kind of rubbery. I don't know how to really explain it, but it's very nice, and they have that same thing here in the bottom. It has like treads on it, and it does help with the grip, even though they opted out from using rubber grips here. I would have liked that, but having this little difference actually is pretty nice. And something that they do differ again from the movie, they have these vented holes here, and you can actually see the light coming from the this emitter, which is a nice added bonus. So there are some things that Ultrasabers did to add their own creative style to it to make it the Electrum Wind. I'm sure they're referring to Mace Windu when they made the name, and they can't exactly as far as licensing advertise it as a Mace Windu saber, but it's obviously based on that saber, although they came up with different creative ways to differentiate from that exact saber. It does come with a CoverTech wheel right here, so if you have the CoverTech clip, you can attach it there. And of course right here is the screw retention, and it's a different kind of screw retention that we're used to in the past. It's a little bit bigger. I will show you guys later on and give you guys a look at the new blade plug, which I'll get into a little bit later, but I just want to finish up just going over this beautiful hilt, guys. I mean, this is just really, really nice. The only other saber that I have in my collection that has some gold finishes is the Eon V3, if you guys haven't checked that out yet. But this one definitely has a lot more gold in it, and it looks so beautiful. And again, I will definitely go over the color disc and all that stuff, but let me just show you guys real quick. So they're calling this the circle blade plug, and you can see there's a bunch of circles here. But anyway, the design, it's beautiful. It looks really nice, lit up too. But I actually prefer how it looks when it's not lit up, and I'll show you guys right now. I'll get out the retention screw. And so this is a little bit thicker than the typical one. I actually, I opted out from buying one on the website, and my dad had just happened to have one that fits it. So I'm just gonna take this out real quick. Now, one thing that I really have to mention that I've seen other people complain about, and something that I have to complain about, is this. So when you're taking out the retention screw, not only does it unscrew the blade from the hilt, and by the way, this is a 32-inch mid-grade ultra edge blade. 32 inches just because, you know, I'm a smaller guy and it looks better that way. Anyway, back to the issue. This loosens up. The way that it was constructed, somehow, some way, this thing loosens up other parts of the hilt, and what kind of makes me a little irritated is the fact that it won't stay in the middle. So you have to like hold this and make sure it's in the middle while you're rescrewing this thing, and that can be a bit of, you know, it's a little bit of a nuisance. And not only that, I'm afraid that if this thing loosens up, that when I'm twirling this thing, you know, this is going to be shaking around, rattling around, and that will annoy me. So I hope that's not an issue. I hope that, you know, this thing will keep it from doing that, and it seems like it does. So that's like a con for me, though. You know, that shouldn't be the way it is. Luckily, everything else doesn't loosen up. It's just this top piece and this one, but that's still an issue. So just FYI to you guys. But anyway, put that on there. Now, unfortunately, the way that this is constructed, maybe I should have requested for a smaller blade plug. So this kind of just like stops right here. And it probably would have looked better inside the hilt, but it still looks nice. You know, I have to say it looks pretty cool. It's a nice effect. So I actually like it when it's not lit up, but if I light this thing up, let's see how it looks. And from the side there, that's actually a pretty cool effect. Even though that it's not flush with the emitter, I'll give you guys different angles to see it from. And you can see here how the emitter, you know, has those vents, and it looks pretty nice going all the way around. And then of course it stops right here where the blade plug is, and I guess from the side it actually does look pretty cool. So that circle blade plug I'm a huge fan of now. There's other saber smiths that have different versions of it, and I was really glad that Ultrasabers came out with their own design. So yeah, that's basically it. So now we're going to get into the color discs, and it comes with 12 color discs. Now, one thing I do notice, you know, playing around with these color discs, you know, I opted out for the tri-cree, meaning there's 3 LEDs emitting the silver color, which makes it a lot brighter. But I do notice that with these color discs, only using one does not really do much, and it'll give it such a light hue that I do recommend using 2 color discs. And if you can buy some more of these, it would probably benefit you, because they're all different shades of certain colors. There isn't the same shade of anything here, so you just have to kind of mix and match and hope for the best. The one color that I do notice that looks like the same one is these 2 purples here. I could be mistaken, but they look like the same exact shade, so when you put them together, it's a stronger hue of purple, which is what I've been using to, you know, give me that nice violet amethyst that Mace Windu had in the movies. And I'll show you that to you guys right after this, but I want to show you guys the other colors they have. They have pink, they have red, see here, there's 2 green ones. Unfortunately, one of them is like a little chipped off there. Not a huge deal though. And I think these 2 shades of green are different. So one's lighter, one's darker. Then you have a lighter blue and a darker blue. And then a orange and a yellow. So, you know, I tried to come up with the best color combinations, and I'm going to give you guys that right now and show it to you. So basically how this works, if you guys aren't familiar with color discs, you have to have Adegan Silver in order for this to work. So you drop in, you know, you can have 2 color discs. You can put really as many as you want, but I've seen that, you know, putting 2 of the same color or similar colors is the best way to go with it. So first I'll show it to you with the blade plug, and then I'll show it to you with the actual blade. So this is the 2 purples. Now, because you're putting it in there, this is going to stick out even more. So that's the only unfortunate thing about it. But here we go. So that looks pretty cool. Now let's put it with the real blade here. There we go. So it gives you that nice violet amethyst. Now with the lights off. Now we're going to go with the two blues. See how it looks like with a blade plug first. So I like that. It's actually, it looks like a Sunrider's Destiny. Or even, you know, it kind of looks like Arctic Blue from different angles. But from this angle, it actually really does look like Sunrider's Destiny. Let's see how it looks with the blade. And with the blade, it definitely looks more like an Arctic Blue. It's a little bit different, you know, in person than on camera, that's for sure. And again, this is with the lights on. And let me show you guys how it looks like with the lights off. Okay, so now on to the next one. We're gonna go with the two reds. First with the blade plug. Now that's very Sith-like. It almost looks like lava. It looks pretty cool. Let's go with the blade. And that's a strong color right there. I can already tell. There we go. That's a nice strong hue. And it, in person it comes off more orangey. And on camera there's a nice silhouette of red. And in the middle kind of looks yellow. But let's see how it looks like with the lights off. It definitely looks more red in camera. And with the lights off, definitely shows off more red. It's like a very strong, vibrant orange in person. There's a few more to do. We have the yellow and the orange, which I'll mix in together. And then at the end, I'll just put in like a few colors just to show you guys how it looks like mixing and matching different colors. Right now, I'm just doing the same ones because I think that's the best result. But here we go with the two oranges. Or the yellow and the orange. Definitely comes off more like yellow in camera. In person, it's very much like a yellow orange, really. So let's see how this looks like with the blade in. And it comes off much more yellow in camera. And I actually really like how it looks like in camera. Because I haven't been able to replicate that color very well using my Manticore, you know, with the Emerald driver. But this looks pretty dope. Yeah, it looks really nice. In person, it's a lot more stronger on the orange hue. And it looks even better with the lights off. But it definitely is a yellow-orange in person. Okay, so just two more colors to go. We have the light green and little shade darker of green. Put in the blade plug. That looks pretty nice. I wouldn't call it a consular green. It's actually more like a lime green. At least in person. Now on camera, I think it passes off more like a consular. Now this probably reminds you of my Emerald Manticore now. At least that review when I had the green on it. Okay, so now I'm putting in the two pink color discs. Put in the blade plug. Definitely more of a magenta in camera, but on my end, in person, it's more of a hot pink. And that's a color that's pretty hard to replicate using the Emerald driver. And so hot pink, for those who want to get that color, maybe color discs are the way to go. Yep, definitely more magenta. But it's pretty nice too, it looks pretty good. Okay, so now the amount of color variations you can come up with, especially if you buy more color discs, it's really like almost endless, right? So I won't go through everything, but I will go through just two to show you guys how it looks like. Now, you would think that putting in blue and red would give you a nice purple color, I'll show you guys what happens. So like most of these colors, it kind of just ends up looking a little pink in hue. And I've seen that with the RGB, you know, with my RGB, turning on all 3 LEDs, you would think would be a, you know, a different color, but it actually turns out to just look pink. And so I put in the 2, the blue and the red, so let's see how that works. And as you can tell, you were hoping for a nice purple, but it's more of a magenta. Let's see if we put in another red that changes anything. And that actually makes it look more orange in color. So it's kind of weird. It's a little different than you would expect. And I mean, we could keep on adding more colors if we wanted to. Put in a light blue in there. And red shows up more, if anything. So it's kind of weird. You know, you would think certain color combos would work, and it really doesn't. So let's see. I mean, we can put in, you would think maybe yellow and blue would make green. Let's see what happens. And actually, here in this instance, it's a nice, I would say a yellow-green, really. And it actually comes off really well. Let's see what happens with the actual blade. And it's not really far off from just the 2 greens that we had earlier. It actually looks pretty similar. So that worked out pretty well. So I'll do one more for you guys. And if we were to try, like when I was saying using just one color, it really doesn't do anything. It really doesn't. So let's see if we just put in one purple in here, what it does. And it's just like a really light purple. You can barely tell. And it even really doesn't show when I put in the actual blade. It's more of a silver, if anything, with just a nice pink hue to it. So that is about it for my color discs, showing off that to you guys. But I do want to show off the sound now. So I actually opted for the Obsidian Lite sound. So for those who know the Obsidian soundboard, that's a standard soundboard that all Ultra Sabers come with. If you try to go for the sabers with sound, they do have an option to do Obsidian Lite. So what I did was the Obsidian Lite. So basically, you can't add any different soundboard. You're only going to get the standard soundboard, and you can't edit the swing sounds. You can't edit, you know, the sensitivity of them. So it's a bit cheaper in price, which I didn't mind. I just wanted some kind of soundboard with it. So the only, you know, lightsaber that I have that you can edit the sound and the sensitivity is the Emerald Manticore, for those who haven't seen that. It's my most popular lightsaber review on YouTube, so you can check that out. It's the most customizable one too. And speaking of that, if you guys wanted to know a comparison of the silver, the Adegan Silver with the color discs versus the RGB versus the Emerald Manticore, maybe I can do a whole entire video in the future. But I do have to say the best one is still the Emerald Manticore. I mean, your options are endless. With this one, the color discs, it doesn't always match up to what you want it to be. And, you know, it takes some time. And of course, you know, you have to buy other color discs too. But it's a nice way of getting silver, because you can't get silver in any other way. You can't get it in the RGB. You can't get it in the Emerald the Emerald driver either. And then with the RGB, it's instant changes, which I do like. I think it's good for battling, and I think it's good for maybe filming too, so you can change it right on the dot. They each have their pros and their cons for sure, and I can't get into everything, otherwise this whole video would be so long. But I will say that this is a nice option for those who like to mix and match, who like to experiment. I think it's a nice option, and it's definitely a cheaper option than the Emerald driver for sure. And the RGB, as we know it, they don't offer it anymore, so unfortunately you can't even get that one. Okay, so anyway guys, before I end this review, let me just show off the sound. So you got the ignition sound, got the nice swinging sounds, and then you have the clash. There we go. So that's about it, guys. You got the sound off sound. I mean the power down sound. And so, guys, stay tuned. At the end of this video, I'm going to have the demo, as I always do. There's just a bunch of great reviews coming up, guys. I'm very, very busy. So please be patient. And of course, there's going to be a holiday giveaway. So just stay tuned to my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Check out my other lightsaber reviews. Again, for those who are waiting for more of them, they're coming. And then also lightsaber training videos. I'm definitely working on that too, so please be patient. There's just a bunch of stuff coming out, especially with Rogue One. And I have some Doctor Strange reviews too. So anyway, guys, thank you guys for being so patient and so supportive. I love you guys. And until next time, embrace, express, and enjoy yourself. May the Force be with you always, my young Padawan.